What does a good client look like for BRC, first of all, generally?
A good client for BRC is someone who um, it is interesting in a collaborative relationship. I think that's our sweet spot. We work really well when we want someone that's going to work with us and stay in touch. We're not looking for a client that just needs us to dump some numbers in a tax return and move on. We do our best work when we're talking with them through the year. We're doing tax planning. They're keeping us abreast of what's going on. And that way we can do the same. We keep them updated on tax law changes or changes to the auditing standards, things like that.
Talk a little bit about how you educate clients about what it's going to be like working with you.
I'm actually dealing with that. Yeah, I have a new client that has never had an advisor. So we are not just an accountant, we're an advisor. And that's how again, we want to know what's going on so that we can be proactive rather than reactive.
Yeah.
We do our best work when we're able to know what's going on, what's coming in your business, because if we know ahead of time, we can start guiding you, knowing what's coming for tax law changes and things like that. We can kind of keep in our mind, oh, this client's going to need an R&D credit, or oh, this client's going to need a cost segregation, so things like that, that we can be there to help them early enough that we're able to actually do, make some good headway on their financials.
How do you educate clients on, hey, it's not just you I'm dealing with. I want to know your team, your CFO, who's running your warehouse. I'd love to meet your family if that's appropriate, but I want to know the people around you because it's not just one-on-one.
Mm-hmm. Yes, a lot of our clients, it's not just the owners of the business. You're right. We do a lot. Sometimes I speak to the CFO almost more because they're the ones handling the financials. Maybe they have someone that handles the fixed assets alone. It usually is a team approach. And especially when we have the bigger clients that have, yeah, several people involved, maybe that means we meet once or twice a year as a group, or we do a Zoom call or something like that to kind of make sure we're all on the same page.
Let's deep dive on the proactivity word that you said. A lot of CPAs traditionally are historical in focus. They look back. If they're good, they might look at the now, but it's generally here's what's happened, here's where you've been.
Mm-hmm.
They're not particularly future focused and they don't really delve into the future plans, goals, dreams, vision of their clients. How do you approach that?
Well, again, we try to be plugged into what's going on. Hopefully, we're having conversations through the year, and I might ask questions like, "Oh, what are you thinking about doing with this?" But sometimes it's just a comment. They say, like, "Oh, I'm thinking about, giving some shares to my children in the next year or so." That triggers, okay, well, here's some things to think about. And so I'm trying to listen for those key moments where we can kind of say, okay, that's great. Here's something to think about. And we try to, stay on top of it by offering some advice that they can be planning with rather than finding out about it after it's done and then there's not much you can change.
BRC are extremely good at retaining clients for a long time. There's a huge amount of loyalty with the clients that you serve. How is that possible?
Oh goodness. Well, what I just, we work to know not just the client business, but the family. And so that means, we start off with maybe the business owner and the wife and small children. And as those children start getting jobs and brokerage accounts or whatever, and they need tax returns, we start doing their tax returns. And then they get to the age where they need to sign that and I start talking to them directly, and we basically have built that relationship, so when they get to the age where they're taking over the business, they stay with us because we know the business, we know the history. They've always talked to BRC for their accounting questions, and that's where now we have some clients that have been with us for three, going on the fourth generation.